All right, welcome to episode number 47 of the Songwriters Couch. And before I introduce our super exciting guest here, I just want to remind you guys to like, subscribe, comment, do all that stuff. It really helps with the algorithms when you start engaging with it. So please go ahead and do that. And that'll be somewhere. I always put the wrong. There we go, because I'm in reverse here. There we go, down there somewhere. Hit that like button, all that kind of thing. Thank you to our sponsors that we have some new stuff going on. We've got some discounts that are going to come out for products that we talk about during the show, too. So you'll start seeing those in the description and on the website. And that helps pay for the channel as well. So please go ahead and if you're interested in any of those products, use the links in the description to actually purchase them. And of course, we have our new merch for my band, the Patrick Jaouen Band, that we got some hats. We've got some water bottles here. With the logo on, this cool hoodie I've got on. I don't know why I'm not wearing the hat itself, but whatever. Don't yell at me. And I've got these phone cases and a whole bunch of stuff. So go again in the description there, patrickjoanne.com, and you can get all that stuff. And we've got a new album coming out too, so stay tuned for that. And enough self promoting here, Alexandra. We'll introduce you now. So on the show today we have straight from LA. The epicenter of the entertainment business, Miss Alexandra Beck. Welcome to the show. First time on the show.
Hey, thanks for having
Hey,
me.
yeah, thanks for coming on. So, Danny felt helped to get us connected here, and I'm glad we did because I got a chance to listen to your new single in the car on the way here while I was rushing and I was late. So I apologize for being late to the show today. But as with the music business and any other entertainment business, most entertainers are late. So I'm sure you're used to it, and I didn't hurt your feelings too much. But thank you for being patient, and thank you for being on the show. So why don't you tell all the people that are watching and or listening where they can find your stuff, and then we'll get into it a little bit.
Hi guys. Yeah, I'm Alexandra Beck. I am so excited about this single. But yes, you can find me on Instagram, Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you choose to listen to music, as Alexandra Beck. And on Instagram, it's Alexandra Beck Music. So yeah, I'm so excited to put out this single on my birthday.
Yeah. So the name of the single is "Hit This," right? It's coming out February
Yeah.
28th, right?
Yeah.
Am I correct? All right, good. And I listened to another one. I don't remember the title of it now, but one of your 2024 singles as well. What was the name of
Mm.
it? Fake? Was it called Fake,
Don't
right?
put out fake. That's a totally different vibe.
Mm.
So yeah,
Uh,
I'm
yeah, we'll get into the songs and we'll get into all of that. I just wanted to make sure that comes out right away that people go and can they pre-save it already? Uh,
yes. If you want the pre-save link, do you want me to send you along the
yeah,
pre-save link?
after we're done,
Okay.
whatever links you want, we'll put them in there. So shoot them over to me for sure. But
Ooh.
before we get started with all of that and we get into the nitty gritty of your music stuff, and maybe this will be about music, we have our awesome bit that we do at the beginning, kind of icebreaker, so to speak, called Two Truths and a Lie. So are you ready to get into that?
Sure, let's go
Ready to
for
do
it.
it? All right, let's do it. We'll start it right now.
Okay, I have to give you two truths and a lie right now.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and start. And just for the people at home, me and you, Alexandra, before today have never met. So there's no funny business going on. You're not giving me answers, right, ahead of time. I know nothing about what you're about to tell me. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, just so we know we don't get accused of cheating for this game here. Not that there's any prizes or anything. Maybe I'll send you $1 via Venmo or something at the end of it if I get it right. Or no, you have to send me $1, Alexander. But let's get started.
Dollar.
All
What's
right.
that gonna do in New York or LA?
Nothing. It won't do anything. I heard
Nothing.
actually, what's funny is I think they actually are talking about getting rid of the single dollar, like the $1 bill, which is
It's
strange.
completely irrelevant.
Yeah, I
I'm
don't know why they
Canadian
would do
and
that.
we use loonies and toonies.
Yeah,
Even that's kind of irrelevant.
it's crazy. But
Yeah.
all right, let's go ahead and get started. So two truths and a
Oh, I moved to LA 5 years ago.
lie.
I'm born on February 29th.
One day
We,
after your single release.
yeah. Um, and I have um, I've met Kelly Rowland in the flesh.
Hmm. All right. So moved to LA 5 years ago. It's definitely a possibility. Sorry, the second one again was
I was born on February
abort.
29th.
That's right.
Leap
Born.
day.
Oh, I'm going to go with February 29th is not your birthday because I don't believe it's possible to be born on a day where sometimes it exists and sometimes it not, unless you're magic, Alexandra. And that's a strong possibility that that's something you are. But I don't know that yet because I don't know you very well yet. So I'm going to go with the leap year birthday as being the lie. Can you do a drum roll there?
I
Are you a
did
drummer?
I did kind of, well, sorry, go ahead. Yeah, were we drum rolling now?
Yeah, I was going to do a drum. Oh, there.
Okay.
Which one is the lie? Which one's the lie?
I did kind of trick you. I said that the song's coming out on my birthday, and my birthday doesn't exist this year, so I am
Oh.
celebrating it on the 28th, which is the day that I am releasing the song.
So,
But I am born on February 29th. I
oh,
am a leap
wow.
day baby. My birthday only comes every 4 years,
Huh.
and I had a special birthday last year, so I turned technically 7 last year.
Huh. Because you only get.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
yeah.
amazing. I
So
don't
I
think
am magic.
I don't think I have ever met someone that was born on the 29th of February. So that's
Me
crazy. So
neither.
did
I've
you
yet to meet someone who's a
oh
birthday twin of me.
well which one of them was a lie before I because I do want to ask a little bit more about that because it's interesting to me.
5 years. I haven't lived here for 5 years.
Oh, really? So that was the lie. I kind of was leaning towards the last one because you hesitated a little bit on
I
like
didn't know. I was like, I need to come up with another one on the spot. But no, I've met Kelly Rowland, so
so you have not only been there for 5 years. Have you been there longer? Did you move there? You grew up there?
I moved here like 2.5 years ago from
So
Vancouver.
then it was from
Yeah.
Vancouver. Oh no shit. See, I broke my own rule about not cursing in the beginning of it already. It was
So
maybe how long have we had here? 3 minutes. We've started
fun.
the show, and I've already. So Vancouver. I was just in Banff,
Oh my
uh,
God, really?
in
I love
in
Banff.
December. Yeah, yeah, yeah. How far? Vancouver is kind of far though from. Uh,
Vancouver is like, yeah, it's probably like an 8 hour, 10 hour drive, but like it's a 2 hour flight. Or like maybe no, it's not a 2 hour flight. It's like maybe an hour long flight.
huh.
Yeah.
Okay. Have
I've
you?
been to I grew up skiing in Banff every winter though, and I recently went there for the first time in the summer. I love Banff.
Huh. Yeah, I
Yes.
found it. It was
What
really
season
cool.
were you there in?
Speaking of magical, yeah, it was in December. I was there for about
What?
how long were we there? Almost a week, 5 days, something like that, give or take. It was really cool. I'm not a big skier, but I like the area. It's very speaking of magic, that place looks magical everywhere you
Oh,
go,
yeah,
at
it's
night
totally magic.
and during the day, like the snow-covered mountains and all that stuff. So, what made you move to LA from?
Music.
All right, all right.
Yeah, music.
There's a
So I
big there's a music scene though in Vancouver, isn't there?
A little bit. I wanted, I'm a dancer and I feel like I'm more in like pop music. So I was kind of excited to get out here to really be exposed to it all. The dance scene here is unlike anything else in the world, in my opinion. And yeah, it's just, there's so, like in New York, there's such the caliber of the artists. And
Yeah.
even in London, like I went to London in May, like these three cities, the caliber of art is insane. It helps you improve. I've noticed tremendous growth in myself being here just by like absorbing other people's art and like seeing okay, like I learned that doesn't work, but that does. So like that's how that like relates to me. So yeah.
I kind of feel the same. I feel grateful because I grew up in New York City too. So like
Thank
even
you.
just my childhood and a bunch of stuff that I kind of thought was normal at the time, I guess. For everyone growing up, like everyone had experienced all these things or whatever. And it's not until I now live in Rochester, closer to Toronto, like maybe if was it 4 hours, something like that from Toronto. So like up.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Upstate, right?
yeah, yeah, but I start talking to people, and it's such a different. Like my childhood was very different um, than
Lucky
theirs.
you.
It seems, but it did help with, especially like the music business part of it. I feel like you're in such competition there that you have to be good. If you're going to stand out, you have to be good, and if moving to a city from, maybe a smaller city, you realize like, oh, wow, people are really working at this. I've got,
Yeah.
you said you got to step up your caliber of what you're doing and your business sense and all that kind of stuff. So must have been a little bit of a culture shock, I'd imagine, moving
It
to.
was a culture shock. I didn't like the city at first, but it was because I was overwhelmed by it, and now I freaking love it. Like I love this place so much, and I can't imagine going home.
And you were only 6 years old when you moved there too, according.
Exactly. I was a little
Oh
baby.
yeah, it's
Accomplished so much.
right. It's amazing
Immigration
how
to a
much.
new country.
No, that's really. I'm gonna tell that story now. If I met someone and they only have. So what do you do? You said it was a special birthday, but just because it was your seven, because it was actually on a leap year. There was actually a 29th, right?
Yeah, I did like everything on my birthday last year. I was a little, when you like overload your schedule, but like
Yeah.
it's your birthday and you like feel stressed about being on time for everything. That was like my birthday last year. I
Well,
had, go
do you,
ahead,
do you
sorry.
have to do you have to like purposely do you move it like from the first to the 28th? Like, do you move it out of your
Oh, on the
month?
28th. I'm a February baby.
Okay,
You
so
know, February is my identity. Like I'm not March. I'm not March. So
yeah, you're
many
not one of
people
those March people.
no,
No, they're
no, not even.
that's cool. So I'm glad I finally met someone. So and your last statement there, and I'm sorry I forgot the name of the individual you said there that you had met.
Kelly Rowland?
Kelly Rowland, right?
Yeah,
Uh
Destiny's Child.
yeah, so how did that come about?
When I lived in Vancouver, I worked at this really fancy Italian restaurant. And honestly, it's not like LA where you see celebrities a lot where you're sitting at restaurants, but there are a lot of actors who live in Vancouver because there's a lot of filming happening. So I worked at this fancy restaurant called Chin Chin, and we have the private room in the back all booked out for some like random company. And then Kelly Rowland arrives, and it's kind of like the point where I was getting really invested in R&B, female R&B pop music, and I was actually kind of deep listening to her music. So
Hmm.
like I don't know, I don't know if everyone's aware that she has so much music, even though she was part of Destiny's Child, but she has like so much solo music. So I was kind of like deep listening to all of this music at that time. And then Kelly Rowland comes in. I'm like, I like know you. I'm like listening to all your music on my runs and stuff. And
Yeah.
on the we weren't allowed to talk to celebrities when we came in. So we had like a few guys from X-Men and different people coming into our restaurant, and I was a hostess. And I was like, fuck it. On the way out, I'm just gonna tell her like she inspired my music so much, and like I love her, and I think she's beautiful and amazing. She was like 45 and looked fucking amazing.
Uh,
Even
I-
my coworkers were like, this woman is stunning. Like I want her.
I'll say this: music seems to keep people that really pursue music kind of youthful. I've noticed. Like you always see musicians, and it's like how are they still either doing it, or they always look so young, or what have you. I think there's something to music that just I don't know. Maybe it's like this underlying joy that never goes away because of music being there, or like such a big part of their lives. What's funny, you reminded me of a story when I met Mick Jagger once. So I was in, speaking of
Yeah,
big cities
what?
and there's celebrities and stuff, right? So one day I'm waiting for a friend in Times Square to meet up with him. Some
You met
guy.
Mick Jagger in Times Square?
This way, it goes. It's.
Okay, sorry, I
I
interrupted.
think I think I might have said this story, so I'll abbreviate it a little bit. But I'm sitting there waiting for my friend to show up, and some guy comes up to me, and this is kind of 1998-ish. So Times Square was cleaner than it had been in the 80s, but it was still on the cusp of like being cleaned up at that point. And so
Hmm.
some guy comes over to me, he's like, "Hey, you want to be in a video and a music video and make $50?" And I was like, weird, someone just coming up to me, right? I'm like, all right, whatever, right? I'm a guy. I can handle myself. We'll see. He walks me down to like this subway station. I'm like, all right, this is getting weird, or you're taking me like down into a subway station now. But it was legitimate. It was a Rolling Stones video. They were shooting some scene in it where it's the train and whatever. And the same thing they said, don't talk to Mick Jagger. No one, none, because I was just an extra, getting $50. No one talked to him. No one's allowed to go up to him, touch him, anything, right? So I'm like, yeah, right. I'm gonna do that. And same
All
similar
right.
to what you did. There was
Did
a
you get
moment.
fired?
No, no, luckily I did. The train, there was some sort of an issue with the train and the whatever commotion, and he was just standing off to the side. So I had a show that weekend, and I invited I had a flyer on me for my show that I had, and I invited him to the show. But him at that time in 1998, he looked like he was 150 years old. I don't know.
I
He looked
believe
like
you.
almost, yeah, almost like fake as a person, but he was full of energy. He was like, oh, yeah, I might come to the show. I don't know if, of course he didn't come to my show or anything, but in one of Mick Jagger's jackets, he's got a flyer from my band like in his lapel pocket or whatever. So, but I had met him because I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna go up and talk to him anyway.
Yeah,
How
I got
often
in
do you get a
trouble
chance to?
afterwards.
Oh, did you? Did you get
Yeah,
fired from it?
I didn't get fired. I got a deep talking to, and then she apologized the next day. She was like, "I was hard on you. You were meeting one of your heroes." I'm like, "Yeah, I was. Like,
Yeah, yeah. Like with
I'm
that.
not gonna not."
Yeah, I would never. I would always apologize after, never ask for permission before you. Whatever, whatever. Yeah, I'm not going to talk to him. Right. So let's
But yeah,
get into your
super proud.
music. So were you doing music at the time? Were you able to like say anything like, "Hey, I'm a musician too"? And
I did, yeah. I was like, "Hey, it's so nice to meet you. You're so beautiful, and I'm a huge fan of your work. And as an artist, you've inspired me so much." And and this is my favorite song called "Grown
what's
Woman." And then she like took my hand, and she's like, "Oh, thank you so much. That means a lot." She's like, "You know that song?" And I was like, or she didn't say, "You know that song." She's like, "Oh, like that's cool that you like that song," or something like that. But I think she was kind of shocked that I knew of that song
yeah, yeah.
because I listened to all of her music. I know at that point in time I had listened to like everything. So
I almost feel like it's all those groups from back in the day too. There's always one person or two people that kind of stand out, and they like Beyonce takes off and whatever, and then the other people was such a great like Destiny's Child was so great as just a group, but like In Sync and all those other groups, there's one person that kind of makes it out and goes solo, and the other
yeah,
people their music career for some reason gets forgotten um,
yeah, it's
amongst it.
not fair. It's not
Yeah,
fair.
it doesn't say. And a lot of them are great musicians, like
Yeah,
you're listening to her and even in those bands like some of the breakout stuff was great. It just didn't take off.
yeah,
Um, but I'm hoping your single here takes off. You like that transition how I just moved into it.
yeah.
Well,
I do like
again,
that.
February 28th that's coming out and I read a little bit so you've got at first I saw written by Beck in your press release, right? But your last name is Beck cuz um I thought, oh, like Beck the, I'm a loser baby guy did it, and then no, it's you. It is you. But the I did see also your producer, if not, was
Yeah,
Dr. Chai. And I have not. I'll be honest, I haven't heard of Dr. Chai, uh, but
he's incredible.
produced
Actually met him.
Lisa and Sean Paul's hit.
Yeah, do you want me to talk about him a bit?
Yeah, let me hear what.
Yeah, he's
How
such
did
a
this
nice
How did this
guy.
song come about? Where is it coming from? What's the story behind it? All that kind of stuff, and I'll shut my mouth.
Okay, well, I'll tell you about Chai and then I'll tell you about the song. So Chai, I wanted to, get this song produced and make it something great because I felt like it was one of the best songs I've ever written. Like super catchy. When I performed it, everyone's like, "What? Like, what is this song?" So I feel like I gotten a universally great response about it. But yeah, Dr. Chai, I met him on Sound Better when I first moved here. I'm like, who's like great? And Sound Better is actually such a cool resource. So I met him, and then um, he didn't get back to my message. So I found him on Instagram, and I was like, oh, this guy has like a big cut. He produced No Lie by Sean Paul and Dua Lipa. He's probably not gonna get back to me, but he got back to me, and yeah, we worked on this single, and now we're like gonna be working on some more songs. But yeah, he's such a great human. He's from Zimbabwe. He moved here to do music like 6 years ago, and he's like actually charting with his solo stuff. He's charting really well back home.
Nice.
Um, yeah, he's just like his music is like fun, happy, go lucky, and he also makes beats for stars. So um,
Huh.
he's a great collaborator and really like kind of nailed my vision with this song because most of my music, I feel like I write a cappella or over the keyboard because finding a great chord progression is really important to me and I don't that's why I'm not loving top lining over beats pre-made as much these days. I just find like a loss of like a really great chord progression is like
Yeah.
happening a lot right now. So I'm like, yeah, that's important to me. But yeah, this song came about because during I used to work at this bar, and I think I worked there for like 2 months. And there was this guy, this coworker, and him and I had like this insane like kind of thing, but nothing ever happened.
Hmm.
And then I kind of got laid off. But first night out after COVID, um, uh, like in Vancouver, where you don't have to wear a mask, you can go to the club, you can talk to people, you can go to a different table, and you're not going to get your wrist slapped for
That
like
was
going
so
to talk to
amazing that
someone.
that time where things started to open back up and
Great, felt free. I
yeah.
mean, I had already kind of got my party phase in college, and then COVID happened, but like it felt good to just,
Yeah,
get
I'm
together
definitely
again.
a people person. I like being around people, so it was challenging to say the least. I still occasionally I would go out and wear a mask and go do good mics and stuff that were still happening. Like there was a couple of them where they were really like sanitizing everything and whatever in between artists, so they were still doing it. So
That
um,
was
great.
crazy times. I remember I had a gig in Vancouver, and to sell tickets, you had to sell tables of
Mm.
4 people. Like you couldn't buy an individual ticket, you had to buy a table because it was against city like guidelines to go to a venue where you weren't with your people that you were who are in your bubble or whatever.
Yeah, it was so nuts back then. So what's amazing too, you just reached out to Dr. Chavia. That what was that the name of the app you just talked about? Because maybe people don't know what that is too.
Sound Better, it's such an incredible resource for musicians that, if you're new to a city or you're traveling or you just, are having a hard time networking with people or you need a very specific sound for something, you need it now. Sound Better, you can literally go on and look for a beat maker or look for a mixing engineer or a mixing engineer who works in EDM or look for a female vocalist who does backing vocals, and there's highly qualified people in there. And I've also hired like a designer, like a web designer from there.
So it's kind of
Yes.
like almost like Fiverr, but specifically around musicians. Have you ever used Fiverr? It's kind of similar, like a
Yeah, I think I have been on there before. Yeah, I think it's a similar thing, but
yeah, that's
Sound Better is great. If you haven't used it before, you
yeah.
should get on it.
I might try. Maybe I'll put a link. They're not a sponsor, so don't accuse us of trying to throw something in there. But yeah, I haven't checked that out. Fiverr's kind of cool too because they've got everything. So if you want like lyric videos made like for $50, people will do them, or you've got people that'll mix and master stuff for real cheap, or you can there's ranges of pricing or whatever, but it's a great FIVR, I think is how the app is.
Yeah, yeah.
It's got all sorts of stuff though, like all these gig things, you need, I don't know, artwork done or whatever, creative stuff. Um,
It's
Kind of
great.
cool. So when you write a song, excuse me, because you wrote this one by yourself or was it co-written? I think this is just you, right?
This is just me. Yeah, I just wrote it and then Chai made the beat. So it's really only the two of us involved in it. Well, other than our mixing engineers and recording engineers and everything.
Yeah.
So
And you said
just
you've
us.
moved kind of away from the all right, let me just have something that's already done and add lyrics to it. Now you're starting to, or you have been with your recent projects, actually creating chord progressions ahead of time and the tracks kind of feel and where you want it to go ahead of time, and then getting someone in to produce the music part of it. Is that typically how you write songs, or is it?
Yeah, it's typically how I do it. I'd say like 25% of the time I top line over the beat if I really like the beat. But I feel as I go to like more hip hop and R&B camps, I feel like I'm not as good of a writer when have the constraint of someone else's music, to be honest, like that. I feel like it's my favorite type of songwriting,
Yeah.
writing at home at my keyboard.
So that's interesting. So you are you a piano player? Do you play piano? Like, can you really
Yeah,
play, or is it something? Because me as a piano player, I'm a guitar player by trade, right, and singer and songwriter, whatever. My piano playing is very limited because I don't the actual physicality of it. I don't get. I get the music behind it, but so I'm a half-assed piano player, but I have written songs on the piano because I know some chords, so I can figure out, okay, this should be a piano song, and I'll do it there. Are you a piano player, would you say? or are you
I
using it as a tool to write your lyrical stuff, if that makes sense?
Well, let's just say this. Like, I studied piano growing up. Like, I did up to grade three of the Royal Conservatory.
Oh, okay.
I took a deep break from it, and at a gig, my mom literally told me like last year, she's like, I don't think you should play piano at gigs because it detracts from your vocal. But mind you, she has grade 10, so she's a lot better, and she's
Yeah.
always like a tough critic in the best way. But I was funny after I took that advice and I was like, you know what? I'm
But let
I'm
me,
okay at the keys. Let's just put it that way. It really does help to know an instrument inside and out theory wise, but well, not maybe not inside and out, but I'm not a masterful keyboard
yeah,
player.
you're not like, you wouldn't consider yourself, oh, I'm a piano player first and a singer kind of. So, but that's not a bad thing. So
Singing is my main instrument for sure.
I'll say this. So similarly with the guitar, and I've been pushing myself, one, to do more other instruments, get better at piano, get better at drums, et cetera, et cetera. Even on guitar lately, my older brother was always a lead guitar player, so he was one of those masters of all the virtuosity of the guitar, right? Me, on the other hand, because he was that way, I know basic chords. I could write songs. I could do all of that. I know what's there, but I'm not a shredding guitar player,
Yeah,
that does all that. I use it as a tool to write songs as opposed to being a guitar player. So while I say I'm a guitar player, I'm a rhythm guitar player. That's typically what I say. I'm a rhythm guitar player and songwriter, and even singing. I'm not a virtuoso. What do you want to? What's the name of it? Virtuoso.
virtuoso. Yes.
What it is?
I think so, yeah.
Whatever it is. But I'm a vocalist, so I know how to emote, and I could write lyrics well, and I can put together a song. But my piano player has been pushing me the same, similarly to your mom, where he just yells at me to you, Pat, you got to be a better guitar player. So I've been getting better at that. So don't let your mom's comment deter you from playing piano live. Just get better at it, Alexandra, and then eventually you'll it won't detract because you'll be.
Hopefully the imposter syndrome will go away.
Yeah, yeah, but it's not a bad thing to not be a piano player, because I'm definitely not a drummer. I'm not a bassoon player. You know what I mean? But I do what I do well, and then you have other people that fill in those gaps. That's why I'm in a band.
Yes,
You
exactly.
a producer coming in and helping out with that. So, um, I think that knowing an instrument though is helpful for writing. So your mom is a piano player, and that's something that's always interesting to me, because I found most musicians, someone in their family is also a musician. So is your mom the only one? Is there also other musicians in your family, or?
Um, well, no. Well, my brother played the trumpet really well. Like he was incredible at the trumpet. And then he still has it somewhere. He has a silver trumpet somewhere. It was my uncle's silver trumpet actually that he inherited. He didn't My mom wouldn't let him have it though until he like got really good. So he was playing um he was just playing like a rental trumpet and then one day he got the nice silver trumpet.
Huh.
But yeah, he's really good. He's not doing music anymore really. And then my mom, yeah, my parents really exposed me to a lot of things growing up. Like they put me in choirs. My mom's an incredible keyboard player. She's the best sight reader I've ever known of like sheet music. She just like gets up there and plays like these insane Christmas carols that are super complex, but
Yeah.
um,
I was
she's
always
kind of a perfectionist, and I like being around that energy. But I feel like I'm more of a creative musician than both of them.
Mm,
I might not as be as masterful in a certain area. I'd say like out of the three of us, though, I'm the definitely the best singer.
mm.
And my grandma's an incredible singer too. Both of my grandmas. One of my grandmas has passed away, but I always like listened to her singing in the kitchen. I was like, Grandma Diane, damn, like I didn't know you
So,
could sing like that.
hey,
And then my other grandma, she's still alive and she has a beautiful like kind of high singing soprano voice and she sings in her Ukrainian Catholic choir, church choir.
huh.
So, yeah, that's
Yeah,
kind of the music background in my family.
I've talked about that on the show too. I always wish that I had um choir in my past, like the singing, because harmonies, I'm
Oh my
challenged.
God,
like to hit harmony for whatever reason. It's like not speaking of my piano player, he always yells at me when we're trying to hit harmonies and I always hit the wrong note.
You can
Like we
still join the
practice it over and
choir.
over. Yeah, I know, but it's like something with my I'm starting to get much better at it now that I've been pushing myself, but it was never something that just kind of came natural. But um uh,
That is something I do totally agree with you on because I've been in choirs throughout my whole life, and I feel like out of my music friends are like, "You're really good at finding harmonies." I'm like, "Yeah, because I was soprano too, and I had the lead melody right beside me the whole time, so I had forced me to like be like, I can't sing the melody, I have to
Yeah,
sing
yeah.
the
Yeah, that was
harmony."
it. I was always singing the lead in every band I've been, or if I'm singing along to music, I always sing the lead. I've been making a focus of like doing that spreading. Okay, I can't sing the lead part of it. I've got to sing the harmony, and been getting better
Yeah.
at it. But the reason I'm bringing that kind of thing up too is part of my reason for not being a virtuoso on the guitar or whatever to do lead stuff is because I found it tedious, like to sit down and just run through scales and do all that over and
Mhm.
over and over and over again. And I think
Shit.
part of the reason I've been successful at the songwriting part of it and took on that was because maybe it's also a little bit of laziness, but it you know what I mean, like to or like a little bit of like that ADD thing of like I can't sit and just learn scales and just do scales over and like I find that so tedious. So I want to write. I want to like you. I want to create something new as opposed to playing someone else's stuff all the time. Like I was always very drawn, but I knew that I had to learn some of it to be able to do that. And I
Yes.
feel like I've done enough songwriting now where I feel like I am masterful at songwriting.
Yeah.
Do you like what brought it up was like, do you think there's a little bit of like laziness about your piano learning where you're like, yeah, I don't really want to, you get
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
that's so funny you bring that up because I remember being in piano when I was younger. I must have been like 10 or something when I quit, but I remember being like, there was this one song that I hated that
Yeah.
I was like, this week I need to master this song and then I can go and get it checked off and start working on the next song. And I can't even remember what it was, but I was like, I fucking hate this song. I don't want to practice. I'm too busy doing my extra math homework. My parents put me in fucking Kumon. I need to
Yeah,
do
yeah,
that instead. Like I'm like 10 years old and I have so much homework. Oh my
yeah,
God. So then I like went to her and I was like, Kelly, like my name of my piano teacher, I was like, can we check this song off? And I just remember her distinctly being like, no, you didn't practice. You don't get to check it off. And I was like, kind of just fuck this. I don't want to do this anymore. My parents kind of put me in a lot of different activities too, so that they could tell I wasn't like enjoying it. They would take me out of it and I wasn't practicing, so I feel like they wanted me to get their money's worth from it. So yeah,
that's
and
that's a
yeah,
good I think that's a good creative environment to be in where they're like not like they're exposing you to a lot of stuff but they're not pushing you in a particular direction, and then you ended up kind of leaning into probably your songwriting and your singing that you found a passion for and you're willing to do that work to in that particular what do you call it, discipline or whatever. But that's probably you know why you've become a songwriter and doing what you're doing. Like
I never thought of it like that, but I think you're so right.
I was definitely late. I don't want to learn scales and do all that. I want to make something new. That was
That's
my
so important. Now, like I look back and I'm like, I am so glad I am a musician who has theory knowledge,
yeah.
even though
You
I
have to,
fucking hated doing theory at the time. It's so,
that's why
it's, I feel so blessed to
Michael
have it.
Jackson was so phenomenal too because his dad just he's like, no, you hate it. I don't care. You're gonna do it. Like whatever it is, the dance moves and all, but to the point of, I mean, he was abusive or whatever, but you definitely learn if you're forced into, okay, I got to get just better at this particular thing. Luckily, I think Michael Jackson really loved music, so that helped
Mhm.
the end. But so one of the things that's really interesting to me is the songwriting process and how that all kind of comes to be. And we're getting close to the end here, so I got to be conscious of time. But I want to know, like, when you write songs, it seems like this one was a, and correct me if I'm wrong on this. It was a love affair that never actually happened. Like it was an emotion that you were feeling at the time, and it comes from a place of real. life experience, but I'm sure you've altered some things to, protect the innocent or whatever, and to make it more relatable, on a more wide scale thing. But do you write from personal experience, do you feel more, or is it something where, you see something and want to write to a situation? Because I've done both, where I haven't necessarily experienced what I'm writing about, but I've gotten an emotion or I've felt something about a situation that's happened maybe in the news or what have you, or in my life from someone else's point of view or something that they're experiencing. Like, how does, I know it's not every time, but typically do you write from your own personal
Yeah, I feel
experience?
like almost always for me it's personal. Yeah, this one was personal. Like I felt like, yeah, I, I met him again and I was like, then I like finally like had a night with him and it was like just like for me it was such a thrilling night because it was like the first night after COVID. I
Mm.
meet someone I always wanted to like date and then I like had a night with him and it was like so it was such a like a it was such a feeling and then I kind of wrote a song that I feel like is could be a hit song and that's how it feels.
Now,
I feel like for me, when I have like such momentous days in my life, I tend to like really journal about it and then like come back to it. And I often will write a song like a few days, few weeks or even a month later. But I'm not really in the moment writer. I'm more of like reflecting on what happened and like writing. So I remember when I was dating this guy like 6 years ago and he was like my everything. I didn't write any songs about him. I was so in the moment. I wasn't really writing. And then after, I was so like heartbroken, I was like writing so many songs. I feel like I'm more of that type of person where I need some time away to reflect and look back at a moment. But it's definitely moments in my life. I don't think I'm really good at looking at other people's lives. I have done that once where I wrote like a song about my friend and her relationship, but it just felt like a weird angle. It
yeah.
sounds great. I feel like the song's great. I just haven't put it out yet. But yeah, no, that's kind of me. That's kind of my style of writing.
What,
And I
and
always come with melody first. Melody is most important to me.
that's what I was going to ask. Yeah, like how do you write? Do you write, melody first? Do you have like kind of a
Absolutely.
progression in mind first, or um, I've kind of done a bunch of them. Typically, it's I'm fucking around on the guitar, something sounds kind of cool. I'm like, oh, that's interesting, and then stuff will
Hmm.
happen. Or lately, what's surprising lately for me, in the last probably 3 years, songs have just kind of happened. Like they're like they come out without me, like what you were saying, sometimes you need time away to reflect back on it. That was in the past what would happen. Now in the last 3 years, I feel like when a song, like inspiration for a song comes, I step out of what it, like it's immediate. I'm in the situation right
I
now
feel that too.
and somehow I'm looking at it like I could step away from the emotion of it and write a song about what I'm experiencing right then. And then I could get right back into the emotion. And it's not like, it's almost like therapy had happened, right? I wrote this song and it's like, oh, wow,
Absolutely.
I just learned a bunch about the situation by stepping out somehow.
Hmm.
Um, and I feel like the songs are better because it's that emotion is so fresh at the
Yeah,
time.
I can really relate to that. I feel like yeah, I can really relate to that. Have you ever been at your day job and just been like, okay, like I have a melody right now. I need to go to the bathroom so I can hum it into my voice notes or like
Yeah.
outside or something.
Uh,
I
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I actually
yeah.
put something on an album once that I recorded. I was on my way back from an open mic, and I admit I was driving home, but I only had one whiskey. But I was I was driving back
Oh
home,
no. Oh no.
and I was like humming this thing in my head and slapping on my knee. And there's a bunch of songs out there that are just a cappella, just people singing or whatever to either slapping on their knee or spoons or whatever it is. And I had to pull over. I recorded the song, and that's that version of it. I tried to redo it at home, like in my recording studio. This was just recorded on a phone, like
Mhm.
into the speaker or whatever. I pulled over and wrote it. It was one of my favorite songs that I've ever written. Um, but yeah, I think the inspiration is you don't get to choose when that happens.
Yeah, I agree.
And I'm
I
really
agree so much
interested.
with that. I feel like sometimes it's like also like we're told as artists, you should be doing writing every day or whatever. And I really disagree because I feel like people who try to do what people tell them to like that, they don't come up with creative ideas nearly as often. I feel like I really like what you just said because I feel like you can't choose when you're gonna write something that's really great. You can't choose schedule in your songwriting time every.
Yeah.
I don't. That's at least how it works for me. I know other people have different processes.
Yeah,
For me, I can't force it like
I
that.
think so. Sometimes there's something to the act of just writing for the sake of writing, or doing your scales, right? It's almost like, okay, I'm going to practice the
Hmm.
mechanics of what I'm doing, the mechanics of songwriting, and that maybe can be useful. And maybe, I said kind of earlier that I feel now I have a little bit of talent in the songwriting world just because I've written so many, and I've said this on this show too. A lot of times you got to write a bunch of shit too in between that you never release, that
Yeah.
leads you to the point where you wrote this other song that's fantastic because of some of the techniques and things you did in those shitty songs, if that makes sense. So the
Yeah.
act of it
Yeah. Makes a lot of sense.
is
Yeah.
good. And I like the, because some people can get so caught up in the song needs to be perfect, everything needs to be exactly right, and they never get anything done because of that. Like you can
I hate
get,
when people do that with lyrics. It bothers me.
yeah,
I've had that happen a lot in sessions, and you're just like, well, we would finish the song if we weren't like overthinking if every lyric is perfect.
mhm,
At some point, sometimes the first lyrics that come out are the
yeah,
best
the
because
right
that's
one.
what you were feeling in the moment.
Mm.
Anyways,
So I unfortunately I do have to
sorry.
start to wrap this up, but it was really great talking. And will you be on the
Yeah,
show again at some point? I'd love to have you back on if you have
yeah,
something
let's
coming out, or
do
you're
it. Yeah.
let's
This
do it
song
again.
is coming out on the 28th. I'm really excited about it. And then I'm also releasing my first music video, Hit This, with
Nice.
alongside it. I have backup dancers. We're dancing in a rain room.
Oh
My
wow.
teacher, like, I dance with every Monday night. She choreographed it. So it's a big thing, a big deal. It's going to come out after the single. But yeah, I don't know if you want me to come back on the show to
Yeah,
promote it
yeah, 100%.
then.
Yeah, let me know. We'll try and fit that into the schedule, and if you got something else coming up after that too, if we don't get you in then, we'll get you in
Yeah.
after. But it's been fun talking. I think we have more to talk about in this one. This is what I was telling you. We changed the format a little bit. We shortened it, but I could go on for like 4 hours talking to people about other creative people about their process and how it comes to them, and
Yeah, this was
why and
fun.
all that. So I do want to do it again because you were very fun to talk to. So, and I am every once in a while we go out to LA like for either the Grammy season or whatever, or just out there because I know I have a lot of friends out there that are musicians and entertainers. So maybe we could get together or something when we get out there and
Yeah, sounds
write a
great.
song or do something of the like. But before we get going, let's have you promote one more time where everyone can find your stuff.
Hey guys, yeah, I am on Instagram as Alexandra Beck Music. You'll see lots of dance, singing videos and pictures of me. And then I'm on Spotify, Apple Music, or whatever your favorite streaming platform. I know some people, outside of North America, I learned that there's no Spotify. So
Yeah, and look,
huge,
I'm not a big fan of Spotify. They
yeah,
really put the screws to artists, in my
yeah, I
opinion.
know.
But
Yeah.
whatever, we need them for.
Yeah, and we need them, we love them, we hate them. Yeah, so I'm on basically any platform you'd like to listen to me as Alexandra Beck, and my upcoming single is called Hit This, with the music video coming out shortly after, and lots of dancing, and yeah, it'll be great. I'm
Yeah, it's
really
a
excited
great
about
catchy song. Like I said, I was listening in the car
it.
and
Thank you.
and jamming out to it while I was on my
Thank
way back to the,
you.
the
That's my
studio
goal,
here.
to
So.
make catchy music that gets caught in people's heads and
Yeah.
makes
So
them.
is that yeah? What's your one sentence elevator pitch? Is it to get people dancing and singing along? Is that?
Yeah, I feel like just music that people can be at a club and enjoy. That's kind of my goal. I feel like that's when I like fell in love with music the most. When I was kind of just became like legal drinking age and you can enjoy music on at a club. That's the two where the fusion of my two loves, dancing and music, kind of coalesced. Uh, And I just want people to be able to enjoy my music kind of like that way. Yeah,
I like it.
my
So,
future,
all
hopefully.
right. So we're gonna end it here. Alexandra Beck, go down or pre-save. The link will be in the description as well. Go there and I'm gonna do it again. Like, like, subscribe, wherever it is over here. Like the last time I had like it in my hands and I was moving it around. But like, subscribe. Thank you again to our sponsors. Go buy our merch, patrickjoanne.com. Thank you, everyone, for watching, listening, whatever you're doing. Thank you, Alexandra, for being on the
Thank
show.
you
It
so
was
much,
so much
Patrick.
fun. And hopefully we get a chance at some point to meet in person and play some music together because
Please.
that really is what my point of all this. I like meeting other musicians and stuff and
That's
making
awesome.
making music. So I'll have all your stuff, your links in the description there. We'll see you guys on the next one. Have a great rest of your day, Alexandra. I know
Yeah,
you
you
still
too.
maybe have
Happy Friday.
you
Enjoy
might
the
you might
weekend.
you might still have some sunshine over there in LA, but
Oh, yeah, it's still sunny.
it's snowing and dark out here. So
That's
uh,
why LA's better.
yeah, yeah, I know. I tried to move to San Diego at one point, but I couldn't do it. I'm too much of a New Yorker, and I was impatient in lines waiting for things. So I don't know if I'll ever live out on the West Coast, but maybe eventually in my old age I'll retire in the sunshine and the palm trees out there, and Santa Monica I really like. So maybe I'll end up there or somewhere else, San Diego or something, or Aruba would be better, Alexandra. But
Yeah, maybe Aruba
whatever.
sounds
Yeah, yeah, it is nice.
fire.
But thanks so much for being on the show. I appreciate it, and let's have you on again soon.
Sounds great. I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much.
All right, say goodbye to the people at home there, Alexandra.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.